We have the internal zones of the Earth. You know, as we've looked at the external, which is the atmosphere, the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, and the biosphere. Then we also have the internal, you know, the ones that are inside. And the internal layer of the Earth, or zone of the Earth, is actually made up of three, which is the lower lithosphere, or you can call it the Earth crust. Then we have the mesosphere, or the mantle. Then we have the bathysphere, or the core. But before we look at this, the external structure of the Earth actually work hand in hand with one another, like they depend on each other. So you cannot rule out one of the external structure of the Earth, like the atmosphere. The atmosphere has its own relevance because we have gases there, and we have beds, and we have, you know, UV radiation and the rest going on there. So that's how they work hand in hand. And if you come down to the internal zone of the Earth, where we have these three components, from the lower crust down to the inner core, we'll look at them one after the other, and they are actually separated by what we call discontinuity, and we're going to look at them during this lesson. So let's just look at it now. Now, if you look at the diagram on the screen, you'll see that we have the internal zones of the Earth, and they are separated by what we call discontinuity. So the first two layers are actually called the lithosphere, or the Earth crust. And the Earth crust is actually made up of two layers, which is the oceanic crust and the continental crust. Now, the continental crust, you know, and the oceanic crust down below. Now, the oceanic crust is actually the part where we have where we have the, you know, water body and the ground floor. Then after the oceanic crust and the continental crust, which make up the lithosphere, we head straight to the next layer of the Earth, which is called the mantle. So the mantle, we have, before the mantle, we have a boundary, a seismic boundary per se. We call it the Mohorovicic discontinuity. So after that, you get to the mantle. So in the mantle, we have the upper mantle and the lower mantle. But in the lower mantle, the boundary between both is called the asthenosphere, which is like a seismic region, or just a space between the lower mantle and the upper mantle. Then when you go beyond the lower mantle, you get into the core of the Earth. The core is like the midpoint of the internal structure of the Earth, and the core is divided into two zones, which is the outer core and the inner core, and it's rich in minerals like nickel, like iron, and also like sulfur. So we're going to look at these zones of the Earth.